here, and I am so happy to have you on my block. As you can see, we've got a whole community of people living right here, working together to help each other and show compassion. Compassion is caring enough to do something about someone else's need. Every person is made in their own unique way, and every person can use what they have to show compassion. You want to see? They can build things. Ooh, I know. They can fix things. And even make people feel safe. Everybody has a part to play. And there are clues, even when you're young, to help you know what your part is. For instance, you might like to help your parents out around the kitchen. Someday you may be a chef. Or maybe you like building things out of Legos. You might grow up to be a construction worker. Oh, these are not toys. What if you really love animals? Oh, how cute! Someday you could be a veterinarian. Oh, even cuter! If you look really close to what you're good at and the gifts you've been given, you might get a glimpse of what you'll be like when you're older. Or, like you'll see in today's story, God can use what you have right now to do something miraculous. I'm not sure what I have to give, but I hope it involves a cute puppy. I'll see you next time. Take time.
Let's set the stage. Jesus had been performing amazing miracles and healing people. Great crowds gathered wherever he went. So, when Jesus needed a little time away, he crossed the Sea of Galilee with his friends, the disciples. He was probably looking forward to a quiet day on the mountainside overlooking the lake. But the crowds had followed him. Even though he was tired, Jesus welcomed the people. He could see the hunger in their hearts, so he sat down on the mountainside and began to teach them. I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never go hungry. Through the heat of the day, Jesus kept speaking to the people. As the sun sank lower, though, people started to get restless. See, nobody planned to stay there the whole entire day, and everybody was getting, hungry. So Jesus knew he would have to provide a meal. But first, he spoke to his friend, Philip. And he asked, "Where can we buy bread for all these people to eat?" Philip's eyes widened as he looked out over the mountainside. There are thousands of people here. Even buying enough bread for everyone to have just one little bite would take more than half a year's pay. Wow. Feeding this crowd certainly seemed like an impossible job. Jesus' friends started to check around, trying to see if anyone had brought along any food at all. Now, imagine you are there on the very same hillside. Imagine with me, early this morning, you heard footsteps and excited voices just outside your home. They say Jesus is heading for the lakeshore. You had never seen Jesus, but you had heard a lot about him. So you begged your mom to let you go along. Please, 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 please. It's not far. Let's go. And surprisingly, she said yes, which is pretty amazing. Now, your mom was the kind of mom who was always prepared for anything and everything. Is the sun shining? She had packed sunscreen. Scrape a knee? She has ointment and a Band-Aid. And she never left the house without a nutritious snack. The snack of the day? Bread and fish. She hands them to you to carry. And off you all go. Out the door and joining the crowd. When you finally reach the lakeshore, the crowd is a little overwhelming. But high up on the mountainside, you could see a man surrounded by a close-knit group of followers. Sometimes it's good to be little, so you can make your way little by little uphill through the crowd with your family following behind you. After a while, you are so close, you can hear Jesus. He says, "Anyone who hears my word and believes him who has sent me has eternal life." You slide a little closer and find a place to sit on a little rock just a few yards away from Jesus. And all day long, you listened. You weren't bored even a little bit, because somehow everything Jesus said, it seemed like he was saying it just to you. In fact, you even forgot to eat any of the snacks you were carrying. Now, you can see other people around you are starting to get hungry, and Jesus has taken a short break to talk with his friends. And then you're sad, because Jesus is probably planning to send everybody away to get their own food. But then, a few of his friends start walking through the crowd. Does anyone have any food? No one does. You really want your bread and fish at this point, but as tired and hungry as you are, you know Jesus has been working hard all day. So you clear your throat and you say, I do. I have 5 little loaves of bread and 2 fish. It's not much, but Jesus can have it. He takes the bread and fish, and you follow Jesus' friend, Andrew, right up to Jesus. Andrew says, here's a boy with 5 small loaves of barley bread. He also has 2 small fish. But how far will that go in such a crowd? Jesus turns and looks right at you. He can see you're hungry and that you've chosen to give up your food anyway. And then he smiles. It's the best thank you you've ever gotten. He reaches out his hand and you give him your food. Then Jesus turns back to his friends and says, have the people sit down. Jesus' friends exchange surprised glances, but then they start gesturing to the crowd. Like a slow rolling wave from front to back, you see all the people sit down. Then, right beside you, Jesus takes your 5 small loaves of bread and 2 small fish, and he lifts them up high into the heaven, and he gives thanks to God. Then Jesus takes the loaves and breaks them. He begins handing them out to his friends and to the people in the first rows on the ground. He does the same with the fish. You even get some of your own bread and fish back. You look around and you see Jesus' friends still handing out pieces of fish and bread to the crowd. And you think, this is way more than what I gave to Jesus. Soon, it seems like the entire crowd is eating dinner. Your own stomach is already full, and you still have bread and fish left over. As the people around you begin to finish their meals, Jesus calls his friends again. He tells them to gather all the leftover pieces, not to waste anything. Then you watch in amazement as Jesus' friends go through the crowd with large baskets, and sure enough, lots of people have extra bread and fish to drop inside. When the men finally return to Jesus, they've collected 12 full baskets of leftover fish and bread. That seems impossible, but you know what happened because you saw it and because you've met Jesus. Nearby, a man exclaims, "This must be the prophet who's supposed to come into the world." You aren't exactly sure what that means, but you are sure that Jesus deeply cares for every single person on this hillside. And you're sure that he can take your small snack to meet every single person's need. And that day, there were over 5,000 men. This number doesn't include the women or the children like you. This is a true story from the Bible that happened to one small boy. When he showed up to see Jesus on a mountainside with a crowd of over 5,000 people, it probably never crossed his mind that he could be part of a miracle. All he had to do was offer his 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, and God used it to feed everyone. You never know what God's going to do when you use what you have to help others. So what do you have? Do you like to entertain people? Are you good with animals? Do you like to make things grow? Do you enjoy serving others? Everybody has something they can use to help others. Could all you need be these? Your hands? Your hands can lift things up, clean things, repair things. Something else you have is this, your brain. You can use your brain to help solve problems or to help create something incredible. And what about these, your ears? Sometimes to help others, all you need to do is listen. These your elbows? I'm not exactly sure what you can do with your elbows. Oh, I got it. You can use your elbows to help a small child find their parents in a crowd. Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. The other thing to remember today is our big idea. Use what you have to help others. You don't have to wait until you're older. God can use even the smallest things to make a big difference today.